Welcome to the Bi-Geekly Report, your bi-weekly take on queer representation in geek pop culture. I'm your host, Elle Sanchez. This episode, I'm going to be doing a recap of a brand new TV series that recently debuted on the CW, Black Lightning, which I've been really excited about. The character made a couple of cameos in the TV show Arrow, but now he has his own standalone series with his daughters, which is an important reason why we're doing it on the show. But I'm so excited. So this is just a review of the initial pilot episode. There has been a couple episodes that have aired so far, but this is just a review so far of the pilot. Before I get started in the review, I think it's important to know, as per usual, I'm not super keyed into all the canon of the comic book related to Black Lightning. I feel like this is something I end up saying a lot on the show, but it's true. I haven't really read a whole lot of comics with Black Lightning in them. I was aware of the character. I even brought this comic book issue here, which my dad read to me when I was a little kid. Because he read comic books to me like stories, like bedtime stories. But so I still have that. So I do know about the character, but I haven't read any current incarnations of the character. So I'm mostly going to be talking about the canon that relates to this series exactly. A little bit about the bio of the character that I've looked up, but I'm not going to pretend that it's going to be exactly straight on to what the comic book canon is. So if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments, because I might be. As far as the comic book canon goes for the character, and I think it's pretty true to what it is in the TV series, but I know that his name is Jefferson Pierce. That's his real person name, or actually just his actual name. He's not an alien like Superman. But anyway, so Jefferson Pierce, he is the principal of a I hate using this term, inner city. Okay, so he's a principal of a high school called Garfield High School. And it's generally in like kind of a rough neighborhood, which is like terms people use, was obviously what they're trying to get around is like being racist and referring to it's like predominantly all Black population in the school. So he is the high school of this school, or the high school principal, and he also has an alter ego as Black Lightning, who is a superhero character. He's like a metahuman, so he's like born with these characters. I'm pretty sure there might have been an accident. Either way, he has lightning type powers. So he's not invulnerable or anything, but he can shoot kind of lightning from his body. And he does have more than usual super strength and a good fighting ability. And so he not only protects kids by day as the principal of this school, but he protects families by night by going out in the streets and helping people from local crimes. But usually they're big crime bosses and stuff. And that's kind of what the series is about as well. So in the television series, it kind of takes off from he has been taken a hiatus from being Black Lightning for 9 years once the show starts, because the last time he went out and fought like a big crime boss, he got real fucked up, and his wife was very upset because they have 2 young daughters, and she was like, you cannot do this anymore, because she was afraid he was going to die. So he promised her he would not be Black Lightning for like 9 years ago. And he ended up going out again and helping people, which really upset his wife. And so she left him. So this is 9 years later now, where he's a single dad, separated from his wife, raising his 2 daughters, one of which is still in high school, one of which is, I think, in her early 20s, but is also a teacher at the high school that he is the principal at. Well, she works part-time there as the health instructor because she's also in medical school. For some reason, though, what I don't get with his ex-wife is like upset about him being a superhero, but she's like, here, let me give you full custody of our 2 kids. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But whatever, she makes a couple cameos just to come in and tell him, you better not be Black Lightning anymore. And he's like, I swear I'm not, but that's a lie. It's important to note that his 2 daughters are a main point of this new series. I think probably a really good reason that they got the series off the ground is because, and this is why we're talking about it for this show, is his oldest daughter, Anissa, who's the one that's in medical school and works at the school part-time, is also a superpowered metahuman. In the series, she just figures it out right at the end, so we're going to give away stuff. Be prepared for that. She figures it out at the end, but she is a well-known hero in the DC universe. She goes by Thunder, and she's also a lesbian who dates another superhero, I think he's a member of the Outsiders, Grace Choi or something like that, superhuman, another superhuman with super strength who works as a nightclub bouncer. They're going to introduce her in the series at some point, so I'm excited about that. So far in this episode, the pilot episode, she has not spoken about her sexuality. It's mostly just been introducing the characters. The youngest sister or the youngest daughter of Black Lightning is Jennifer Pierce, who's still in high school. I think she's 17 or 18 or something in the series. But she's also in the DCU a superhero who goes by the name Lightning and has similar powers to her sister and her father. Although Anissa has the power of invulnerability and super strength, and I believe that Jennifer can run really fast. I don't really remember. But none of this has been established yet in the pilot. That's important to note. But it is why we were talking about these characters, mostly because Anissa is gay, and that is most likely going to come out in the series because they did cast someone to play her girlfriend, Grace. So I assume that's going to come up at some point, but it hasn't yet in the pilot. So we'll just talk about what happens in the pilot. I really loved this pilot. I'm really excited about this TV series as a whole. I think, especially, sometimes pilots are the worst part of a show and you have to warm up to it. This is great. I think it only bodes well because the pilot it established the characters really well. You really didn't need to know that much about them to get into it from the minute the pilot starts. But also, it's very inspirational. It's really exciting. So Black Lightning as the character who is the principal of this school and also a superhero on the side, or he's trying to fight being a superhero, but that's obviously going to come back. It's great because he runs a school where he has an agreement with this local gang, which is called the 100 Gang, who is, kind of terrorizing everyone in the neighborhood, but stays away from the school because he has made an agreement with them to not fuck with his kids. But then some lines get crossed and things happen where the gang members come into the school and they start shit with his two daughters, which is also really great to see because both of his daughters are strong and don't take any shit. It is the best part. Initially, what starts the whole problem is his youngest daughter, Jennifer. She goes to a club, tells her family she's going to go to a house party, whatever, lies to her dad, lets her sister cover for her. She ends up going to Club 100, which is shockingly run by the 100 Gang, and gets hit on by some gang member who she initially finds cute, but then he gets her in trouble where he gets yelled at by the boss of this gang, and they kind of drag her in this room with him, and the boss is like, why don't you have your girlfriend work at this motel for me to make up for the money you owe me? And obviously they're talking about forcing her into sex work, and she's like, I'm not doing that. And then she knees the other guy in the nuts, and it's just really great. And then her dad, finds out she's there and comes in and fucks shit up, and that's great. And the best part is there's a couple scenes where Black Lightning is fucked with by the police, because it's really important to mention that almost all the characters in this show, including the main characters, are all people of color, are all Black people, and it's great. It's like there's scenes where white cops are fucking with them, and specifically this scene in which at the beginning of the show in which these cops stop him and he's driving his daughters home from, I think, a banquet or something, and he's like in a suit because he just got off work. And these cops stop him and pull him out of the car and like tell him like, get your black ass out of the car and everything, and like throw him on the hood. And his daughters are getting pissed because his older daughter, Anissa, is really big into social justice. She's an activist, and he's kind of arguing with her all the time about her getting, going to jail and getting arrested and stuff for her activism. And he wants everyone to just be cool and follow the rules like he's trying to do by not being Black Lightning. And then these cops like throw him against the car and yell at him, and they basically find out that they pulled him over assuming that he had robbed a store nearby, but he didn't. and when he asks for them to explain it, they're just like, oh, have a good night. It's fine. And he gets really upset, and he knows that obviously the entire thing is racist, and you see his like eyes kind of flash, the Black Lightning like contact lenses where he's angry again. And then his daughter's narrating this part where she's like, and that's when Black Lightning was reborn. So that's really exciting. That's the fucking beginning. And you're already like, oh, that's so great. And so there's a scene later after he fucks up the club where these two cops come out and they hold their tasers at him and tell him to put his hands up and everything. And then he has his hands up, he's like, complying, and they both tase him, which is not, turns out, a good idea to do to someone who is powered by lightning, because then he just grabs the tasers, shoots the lightning back at them. They both fall over. Then he fucking blows up their cop car with his lightning powers, and then cuts to this really great rap song that is the theme of the show, in which the guy that is the MC on the song says, like, I met a superhero last night and he was black, and he told me his name was Black Lightning, or Black Lightning's back, or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, this is the fucking coolest shit I've ever seen. So it's really exciting. It's really great. And it's just, and then eventually his daughters get kidnapped by the bad guys, and he suits up to go and save them. And it looks so great. I think it's going to be a really good series. At the very end, his oldest daughter does reveal that her powers start to come out because she's having trauma after the kidnapping. She goes to the bathroom, she's upset. She like grabs a sink and it breaks, and you're like, oh shit. So if you didn't know already that his two daughters are superheroes, that would be a super exciting moment for you. But I'm just waiting for them to like obviously reveal their powers. So I'm very excited. I'm excited for what is probably going to be a romantic storyline between Anissa and I assume her girlfriend, who we're probably going to see her meet in the series and fall in love with. It's going to be amazing. And it's definitely a very, very inspirational show I'm just so excited about with Black Panther coming out, and with this show on the air, and Luke Cage. It's like, there's so many great representations of people of color as superheroes coming out, and it's so exciting. I love it. I think it's going to be really good. And can you imagine that we have a black woman who is gay and a superhero? Fuck. It's going to be so good. So I highly recommend this show. Watch the pilot. I think the first 2 episodes might be out besides that. But either way, it's on the CW. If you don't have cable, you can download the CW app and watch it for free. You just have to deal with the stupid commercials. Do it. 100%. It looks amazing. Thank you for watching the Bi-Geekly Report for Jet Space Magazine. Be sure to like and share and subscribe. And like I said, watch Black Lightning. It is so fucking good. You're going to love it. Check it out. It's worth your time. I've been your host, Elle Sanchez. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.